Straight ahead on 12 News, saving money on your mortgage.
I never tell anybody you need to go buy based on the interest rate. You need to buy when the time's right.
What ultra-low interest rates could mean for homeowners. Then, a woman's battle against cancer includes a fight to draw more attention to some types of cancer.
I really hope that my journey can be a journey that will help somebody else avoid my journey.
But first, a Golden Valley man is charged for illegally buying a gun used by another man who opened fire at New Hope City Hall. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone. There is new information and federal charges in the shooting last week at New Hope City Hall.
A Golden Valley man faces charges for allegedly buying guns for a man who opened fire outside a council meeting. 42-year-old Michael Garant faces federal charges for making a false statement to buy a gun on behalf of another person. A shotgun he bought in Princeton last August was allegedly used in the shooting last week outside New Hope City Council chambers. Prosecutors say Garant bought 3 guns for Raymond Kometz. Kometz was killed after he fired 1 round from a shotgun inside New Hope City Hall. Kometz was prohibited from owning a gun. 2 New Hope officers were injured in that gunfire. The federal prosecutor says Garant broke the law when he answered a question on a background check form that said the guns he was buying were for himself. U.S. Attorney Anthony Lugar says background checks are only as good as the information that's collected. Garant is in custody and scheduled to appear before a U.S. magistrate.
A suspected bank robber was still on supervised release from a robbery in Plymouth when he was arrested in December for another robbery. 41-year-old Jerome Scott was indicted this week on charges of holding up a BMO Harris Bank in Bloomington. In 2006, he held up an Anchor Bank in Plymouth. He was sentenced to nearly 6 years in prison for that robbery. Scott was on supervised release from that case when he was arrested near Anderson Lakes Parkway and Highway 169 on December 30th for the other robbery. Scott is due in federal court on the newest charge next week. Minnesota Senate DFLers are asking for $500 million to fund an ambitious education plan.
A group of lawmakers announced a series of bills aimed at creating what they call the world's best workforce. Delane Cleveland was at the Capitol today for the announcement, and he joins us now with more to explain. Delane?
Mike and Alex, the senators unveiled their list of education priorities today, which include securing funding to fix aging school buildings, free breakfast for every student up to 6th grade, and parents would have the option of sending their 4-year-old to preschool for free.
The Anoka-Hennepin School District, which has been doing this for years, and I was on the school board for 8 years and saw firsthand that when you get a kiddo in a preschool program that's in line with where we're going in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, they're ready for kindergarten. 90% of the time at Anoka-Hennepin, they're ready for kindergarten.
Senator John Hoffman of Brooklyn Park is the sponsor of that bill. He and half a dozen other senators made the announcement this morning in a cramped room in the Capitol basement. Other goals they want to pursue include requiring comprehensive eye exams prior to kindergarten, giving school districts the ability to hire more counselors and social workers, and allocating more funding for school technology.
The majority of the bills have bipartisan support. Probably the proof will be in the details, but ultimately we'll see what we come up with, and as it is ultimately resolved in conference committee.
As for how much all of this will cost, that figure won't be determined until after the budget forecast is released at the end of the month. Meanwhile, Governor Dayton says they have many shared goals, and he looks forward to working with the legislature. Mike and Alex?
All right, Delane, thanks. A Brooklyn Center lawmaker says technology is getting ahead of the law, allowing people to impersonate others online. Representative Deborah Hillstrom says it allows people to victimize others, and Minnesota law isn't clear about online impersonation. Before the House Public Safety Committee today, Hillstrom outlined one case where an ex-boyfriend impersonated a woman online.
They included advertisements, which included the victim's photograph and home address, and then numerous men showed up at the residence wanting to have sex with, expecting to have sex with the victim. So someone else pretended to be the victim, looking to cause harm.
Republicans wanted the scope of the bill narrowed so it would not interfere with First Amendment rights. If the bill passes, certain kinds of online impersonation would become a felony. Ultra-low interest rates are having an impact on local home buyers and homeowners.
Shannon Slatton explains in today's Money Savers how a local mortgage consultant says consumers can make the most of it.
Okay, this Saturday the 7th, so the tickets are $22 each.
At Yellow Tree Theater,
I love the day-to-day contact.
Carol Wolf is the one who very literally
You are all set with those 2 tickets.
fills the seats.
I'm the box office manager and development manager, so I handle all of the ticket sales, event planning. It's kind of a dream to be able to work full-time in the arts without being a performer.
As if working in a theater in the suburbs isn't unusual enough, soon she might even be able to walk there.
The thought of walking to work is, outrageous in the suburbs.
Kara and her husband have their eyes on a house in Osseo.
The interest rates are great, and so it's a perfect time for us to move.
For first-time home buyers like Kara and for homeowners who want to refinance, those 2 words, interest rates, can make all the difference.
Well, interest rates are knocking on the door of all-time lows here again.
Alan Coleman tracks interest rates from his office in Maple Grove.
Economists had predicted a certain amount of growth, and it's not happening. Based on that, investors are looking for a safe haven for their money, which is mortgage-backed securities, which directly affects interest rates.
Coleman says people have saved hundreds with the lower rates.
If your rate is 4, 4.5 or higher, it's probably worth talking to your loan officer.
If you are thinking about refinancing, go local. Talk to your existing lender and a few others about your options. Then crunch your numbers to make sure you are saving money in the long term. And finally, know the best deal is to trim the length of your loan.
I never tell anybody you need to go buy based on the interest rate. You need to buy when the time's right. But, if you're thinking about doing something like that, within the next 6 to 7, 8 months is really going to be a fantastic time to be in the market.
It's worthwhile to point out refinancing isn't the only way to decrease the term of your mortgage. You can pay more on the principal to pay off the loan sooner and reduce the term of your loan. For example, adding $50 to your principal each month on a 30-year fixed-rate loan of $200,000 reduces the term by 3 years and saves more than $27,000 in interest costs. Mike?
All right, good to know. Thank you. The cost of prom can be a hurdle for low-income families, but there is a program that aims to help.
This is one of the dresses that was just donated.
Jenny Asaba started Project Prom in 2007, and she's calling on you to search your closet for gently used prom or bridesmaid dresses. Look at these pictures from last year when 600 dresses were donated. Girls from 24 area high schools had the chance to find a dress of their dreams for free. It's the reason Asaba started the program originally in the Bronx before moving to Minnesota.
You could see that the need was there. You could hear the girls talking about it. And I said, wow, we can do something about this because girls have dresses in their closets they're not going to wear again. They're beautiful and they deserve another life. They want to dance again.
Until March 12th, you can donate dresses in the main lobby of Unity Hospital in Fridley. And for more information, visit projectprom.us. Coming up, fighting a type of cancer that doesn't get much attention.
And then a little bit later in sports, Osseo and Wayzata go down to the wire in a girls' basketball matchup.
But first, your AccuWeather forecast. On this World Cancer Day, there's an effort to highlight cancers where research is underfunded and the cancer itself is often misdiagnosed.
These kinds of cancers often claim the lives of women. Terry Woodhull closed her business in Plymouth when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us how she's fighting the disease and spreading awareness.
I was diagnosed in November of 2010.
Terry Woodhull is fighting ovarian cancer, but she's not letting it get her down.
You're dealt the cards you're given, and you do the best you can with them.
Although she had chemo yesterday, Terry smiled as she sported her teal, the symbol for ovarian cancer.
I have a genetic mutation, a BRCA mutation. That's makes me have a high likelihood of developing breast cancer and ovarian cancer.
For a couple of years, Terry had no evidence of the disease, but then it returned this fall.
It's not likely to be curable. And so the goal is simply to try and keep the disease at bay as long as we can and have the best quality of life as possible.
No one would blame Terry if she just took time to take care of herself, but that's not what she's doing.
I think I've always been a person who's looked at the positives in life.
Terry volunteers at 2 cancer organizations.
I'm hoping that my voice can be a voice that helps other women potentially avoid having the journey that I'm having.
Ovarian cancer accounts for about 3% of cancers among women, but causes more deaths than any other cancer of the female reproductive system.
Our mission is to fund ovarian cancer research, provide support and programming for women impacted by the disease.
Becky Lecter is with the Minnesota Ovarian Cancer Alliance.
Let's just get the conversation started. Let's start talking about the symptoms. Let's be aware of our bodies.
And speaking about spreading awareness, theaters all across the country, including this one in Brooklyn Center, are showing a film tonight to help enlighten the public.
That there is this group of cancers that's been ignored.
In the movie, 6 doctors tell stories about their patients while shedding light on gynecological cancers.
It epitomizes the most intense moments in people's lives. I mean, the birth of a child and facing death with cancer.
It's the same message Terry has been spreading for the past 5 years.
More than anything for me, it's about just trying to live a quality of life that is enjoyable, be able to be with my friends and family, and raise as much awareness as I can about this issue because it's so important.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
To learn more about gynecological cancers, you can check out the movie Ned. It is playing at the Regal Cinemas in Brooklyn Center tonight. That's Wednesday evening at 7:30.
Coming up, where sportsmanship still exists.
And it is a big day for some local athletes as they sign to play in college. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
It's a big day for players, coaches, families, and fans. Today marked National Signing Day for NCAA letters of intent for football, soccer, and more. At Park Center, 5 athletes, 4 football players and a girls soccer player were part of the signing ceremony. That includes Division I football recruit Adam Burge, who's headed to Northern Illinois. At Maple Grove High School, a total of 6 athletes signed, 3 for soccer and 3 for football, including All-State lineman Ben Schultz, who's headed to Harvard. Running back Clark Winnicky will join his brother Jake at South Dakota State. A score of athletes inked their letters of intent this afternoon at Hopkins High School, including 11 football players, some of them at the Division I level. At Armstrong, 2 girls soccer players and a football player inked their letters of intent. Wayzata, Breck, and Champlin Park also had signing ceremonies. Hear what some of the signees had to say.
I went there a couple times in the summer, and each time I liked it more and more. I liked it from the people to the facilities to the program. It was just a good fit for me overall.
It's a huge day for us and for all the kids in Maple Grove that are signing their letters of intent today. I've always wanted to go to Harvard, and it's just a dream of mine to be able to sign this letter today.
The coaches were great. Coach Bull was great. I mean, first thing he talked about was education, and that's a huge part to my family and to me because, like, not only have I started off slow in high school, but now I want to further my education in college and be able to get everything situated first.
When I got on campus, I just really liked the school, first of all. So I'm super in love with the academic part, and I also get to play soccer, so that's just a bonus on top of it.
Here now is a look at all the local Division I and Division II signees today.
Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. I'm wondering if your love's still strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed.
We're not far away from section play in boys hockey. 2 teams that have been contenders in recent seasons in Section 6AA met up as Benilde St. Margaret's hosted Eden Prairie. First period with the Eagles on the power play. Casey Middlestat steps home a shot, 1-0 lead. Later in the first, Nolan Sullivan's shot is stopped by Benilde's Ryan Bischel, but Riley Argetsinger tucks the rebound in. It's 2-0 Eden Prairie. The Eagles continue to beat the drum in the second period. Michael Graham rifling a slap shot power play goal in for a 4-0 lead. Sean DeRocher stops all 24 Benilde shots, and Eden Prairie wins it 5-0. The Maple Grove and Armstrong Cooper boys hockey teams have struggled the second half of the season. Those teams faced off in Maple Grove. The Crimson's Josh Passold centers the puck to Sam Huff, and he shoots and scores 10 seconds into the game. Later in the first period, Passold passes to Huff, who hits Sam Franta with a pass. He scores, and it's 2-0 Maple Grove after 1. Second period, Nicholas Holscher stopped on a breakaway. Brady Goodman with a save to keep it 2-0. After the Crimson killed off a 5-minute major, Patzel taking a pass from Huff scores, and it's 3-0 Maple Grove. Still in the second period, Maple Grove shorthanded. Gavin Miller snaps off his shot on the goal. Another assist for Patzel, and the Crimson lead 4-0. Armstrong Cooper finally gets on the board in the third period. The shot from the point is stopped, but Alex Stagger with the rebound goal. Not enough, though. Maple Grove skates to a 6-2 win. In girls basketball, Osseo and Wayzata are now in the same section. They played a thriller Tuesday. The Trojans looking for a road win. Osseo surges into the lead. Azaria Reed drives for the left-handed scoop layup and an 11-5 lead. Ari Jones swings it to Courtney Calkins for a 3 from the corner, and the Orioles lead by 7. And then off an inbounds play, it's Kiara Russell nailing a three-pointer to make it 19-9 Orioles. They later go up by 20. But Wayzata closes the gap in a hurry. Sydney Franks pops a 3. She has a huge first half, and the Trojans are within 5 at the half. Second half, Wayzata grabs the lead. Mimi Schrader sinks a 3 from the top of the key to make it 40-38. Franks drills in one of her 5 threes in the game here. She scores 24, and the Trojans lead by 4. But Osseo battles back. Russell hits a clutch 3 to give them a 54-50 lead on her way to a 25-point game. And Ari Jones, with 2 big free throws late, closes it out, and Osseo wins 70-67. Exciting game, and that's it for sports.
Thanks, John. We'll be right back. In a time where you see pro football players being flagged for taunting or fighting at the Super Bowl, there is a refreshing story about sportsmanship along a cross-country ski trail.
Check this out. An Osseo ski parent snapped these pictures last week at a meet at Worth Park. On the left, you see a Nordic skier from Osseo take a fall on an icy patch. He was okay, but he broke his ski. On the right, he's being helped by an Armstrong skier who had finished the race and offering an opponent to use his skis.
And he went down hard, and it was this sugary snow, so he couldn't really see when he got up that one of his skis was totally snapped in half, but you could hear it when I was watching, and then he got up, and I saw it just dangling off, and I was like, I asked the coach right next to me, I was like, can I give him my skis? And he's like, sure.
Jake Delaney says he's always been taught to put people first, that it will get you further in life. So, way to go for both skiers. One who was able to finish the race, get up after a hard fall, and the other who, helped out a competitor.
Provided the assist, that's right.
It's something you don't see every day.
No,
right?
and like to see more of.
Absolutely. That's it. That's the news for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4. Community Corner is coming up next.